Hello and welcome to the 10 most popular Brave Souls characters from the third year as chosen by you guys, the BBS community. First of all, sorry this video is coming out a bit late, I got sick, and also I was busy moving. So it's been a pretty packed week for me. But yeah, thanks to those of you who voted on this list, as without you it would not be possible. With that out of the way, let's begin. Not lucky for the world that we got quite a few Yoroichis in the last year, but the one that made it at number 10 is none other than the manga version of Yoroichi, who came out almost a year ago at this point. She's got a really high SP and a pretty decent attack for a high SP character. In addition to this, she also has frenzy and can inflict debilitating paralysis on all of her attacks. The attacks all have pretty good range as well, though there is a problem with one of the hitboxes. Still, she packs in quite a punch, and it only gets better after her special. It's not only full screen, but it also completely transforms her, and it changes the magnifications on her strong attacks and her normal attack. In addition to this, her normal attack also makes her lunge forward, increasing its overall range. Finally, it also surrounds her with a lightning vortex for about 5 seconds that is still considered to be part of her special, and it can be used to deal additional damage after the special is done. I'm actually really happy that this character made it on this list, as it's one of my personal favorite characters, and I'm glad the community feels the same way.
野獣そこにいろこれを待ってたぜこのゾクゾクする感覚をよ
Now you may notice that I skipped number 9. This is because there were actually 2 characters tied for the number 8 position. This actually happens another time on this list, but the first character I want to cover is Kenpachi Zaraki. When Broken came out, he was a force to be reckoned with in PvP. No one could compete with him, at least until Fullbring Ichigo came along. Still, he was a big threat in PvP until he eventually kind of died off, and the world was left Kennyless, until this guy came along and pretty much filled the void. Not only is he tied with the second highest attack in the game, but he's also got Poise and Flurry, meaning his attacks hit twice. In addition to this, he can also inflict debilitating weakening on all of his attacks, making his strong attacks useful, especially his strong attack 2. It's a vortex move that surrounds him and has a very high chance to inflict debilitating weakening. This is useful in both PvE since it makes him good for autoing, as well as PvP since he's very likely to inflict the weakening there. He's also got damage reduction as a soul trait, and he's got a Captain Killer, which, you know, good in PvP, bad in PvE. Still, Kenny has always been a very popular character, and this one in particular is currently one of the most sought after.
俺の中の力の全部これでてめえを倒す行くぜ
Now, as soon as I put up this poll, I knew I was gonna see this character on this list. He's also tied for number 8, and he's one of K-Lab's original characters. I'm talking about the Quincy version of Ichigo, who came out for New Year's last year, or this year, and who, despite what a lot of people think, is actually a good character. Sure, he doesn't have the best killer, but the killer is becoming increasingly more relevant, and the character itself is incredibly powerful. He currently holds the second highest SP in the game, beaten only by Mugetsu at the time of this recording, and he also has Frenzy. He can also inflict debilitating weakening on all of his attacks, and he's got piercing normal attack, which definitely helps with that. He's also got a pushback strong attack 1 with a high probability of inflicting weakening, and a 180 mag strong attack 2, which does split off in 3 ways, but it also helps push enemies back and is very likely to inflict the weakening. This Ichigo also has an extra flash step, and he's completely immune to freezing. In addition to all of this, he's also considered no affiliation. So in inheritance zones and droplet zones, there's really not any fear that any enemy will have a killer against him. At least not yet, we'll see what happens with other updates. The design of this Ichigo is really cool, and I was really hoping that the anniversary characters would be something original. Don't get me wrong, I like what we got, but I'm also a big fan of K-Lab's original designs.
そろそろ私の冷圧に耐えられなくなってきた頃か
Next on the list is an Aizen that I finally got. And I'm sure a lot of people did too, seeing as he was finally a filler in step-ups. I'm talking about the much needed but never summoned power version of Aizen. Setting aside the fact that he's pretty much needed to clear 420 on ordeals, he's actually a really good character, with a really high SP as well as Frenzy. Much like both characters at number 8, he can also inflict debilitating weakening on all of his attacks. and boy are they really good attacks. His strong attack 3 and his strong attack 1 are both really fast to activate and have really good range. On the other hand, his strong attack 2 is a crawling vortex move, which is really good for crowd control and has a very high chance of inflicting debilitating weakening. It pushes enemies back and is good for things like guild quests or Senkaimon. Then we have his normal attack, that actually ends with not one but two 360 mag attacks. They split off in 3 directions, but he's the only character to have 2 of them, and up close he can do a lot of damage. Much like Ichigo before him, this Aizen is also completely immune to freezing, and he also has a strong attack recharge link, meaning that you can build him in a way that you can pretty much spam his strong attacks. He's soon to be not the most popular Aizen though, as the manga Aizen was confirmed to come out in a few days, and I'm sure I'll be seeing him in next year's version of this list.
送り知るせ、いこめきどもへ。徳永様のお役に立ってみせます。
Next up is a character that, believe it or not, I actually didn't expect to see on here, and it's the only one in this list that I'm actually surprised is in here. I'm talking about Hikone, and don't get me wrong, it's not that I think he's bad or that I don't like him or anything. I honestly just didn't think about him. Still, I can totally see why he's on here. He's got a really high SP as well as Frenzy, and much like half the characters on this list at this point, can also inflict debilitating weakening. His strong attacks all have really good range, and he's a no affiliation Soul Reaper killer, which is always really good to have. One of the best things about this character though is that he has long stride as well as an extra flash step. It's not quite on the level as some of the Yoroichis or Soifons, since they have additional flash steps, but he's definitely stronger than any of the ones who do, since he's got a much higher SP, and with his strong attack recharge link you can pretty much spam his strong attacks. This makes him one of the best characters for PvE, and one of the fastest characters in the game. Hikone is also one of the more mystery filled characters, as most of us have yet to see where he'll end up in the story.
見届けるがいい。全てを無に返すこの力を。トルメンタでムルシエラゴ。
At number 5 in the list, we have the anniversary version of Ukiura, who literally came out at the cutoff date from this video's list, since he was the very first character from the 3rd year of this game. He was also the very first Espada remake, technically, and he's the only one that you can currently get outside of the Campfire Your World banners. Surprise, surprise, he can also inflict weakening, though his is not debilitating. Still, it doesn't matter because he's got so much else going for him, starting with his really high SP. It's not as high as some of the ones recently, but it's still pretty high, and he also has Frenzy. In addition to this, his strong attack 3 is also a charge move that doubles in strength when fully charged. It's not exactly full screen, but you don't need it when it hits that hard. Plus, he's got a boosted 25% strong attack damage link, so it's gonna hit harder than average anyway. His strong attack 1 is a lunge move that can also inflict weakening, and while his strong attack 2 can't inflict weakening, it is a boost move, and he has Enhancer. This increases his attack, defense, and focus, as well as the rest of the team's, by 33% for 20 seconds. Unlike other boost moves though, this one is also a barrier move, so it's pretty much the ultimate support move, and it also makes his normal attack viable even though it's not that high, since it increases it by 33% and his normal attack is really quick anyway. Ukiura also has poise, meaning he does not stagger, and it makes him pretty decent in PvP. Really the only bad thing about this character is the killer, and that's becoming more relevant as the days go on. Ukiura remains the most popular Espada in the game, and this version of him is one of the strongest characters in the game, so it's no surprise to see him on this list.
大地の洞窟を聞きなさい。ランサデルソ・ガミューサ。
Next up and tied for number 3 is the former Espada number 3, Neliel, specifically the Can't Fear Your Own World version. And wouldn't you know it, she can also inflict debilitating weakening. Out of all the Can't Fear Your Own World characters, she is currently my favorite. She not only has a really high attack, but also a ridiculous plus 80 bruiser, as well as a strong attack recharge link. While her strong attacks don't deal that much damage, they do come in handy, especially her strong attack 2. It's a vortex move that surrounds her, similar to Kenpachi's, and it serves a similar purpose. Her strong attack 3 also comes in handy as it puts enemies in one area, before hitting them with one final strike and prepping them for the oncoming onslaught. It also hits a high number of times, so it also has a chance to inflict the weakening. But probably the best part about this character is her normal attack. Not only does it do a lot of damage, but it's also very unique. It lunges towards the enemies, giving her a much longer reach, and makes her a lot harder to hit. For this reason, she's one of the quickest characters to take for autoing, and she's actually a good option to take in PvP. Also, let's be real, she's one of the coolest designed characters in the whole game.
挽回 観音開き絵に姫改め仕方ないっすね。
Also tied for number 3 was Kisuke Urahara, and this one actually came as a surprise to me. I mean, personally, I voted for him, but I didn't expect so many other people to do the same. Kisuke has a really high SP as well as Frenzy, and he's got really good strong attacks, from Strong Attack 3 that's full screen, to Strong Attack 1 that's a 180 mag. It rapidly increases the combo and pushes enemies away, though sadly it doesn't do that much damage. Still, he's got a really fast normal attack, and a really cool looking special. Not only does it look cool, it also comes with the ability to raise people from the dead if they happen to die after he uses his special. And unlike Last Ditch Survival that only brings you back with around 20% of your health, this one brings you back with half, making Kisuke's special easily one of the best specials in the game, and making Kisuke a very valuable character to have in a team. To top it all off, this character is also completely immune from being poisoned, which is definitely a nice bonus to have when it comes to inheritance zones, droplet zones, or extreme co-op. I'm really glad other people voted for him because I really like putting him in top 10 lists.
Santa Teresa!
Next up is a character that I know a lot of people knew was going to be in this, Can't Free Your Own World version of Torah, the current PvP king. He not only has one of the highest attacks in the game, but also has poise and flurry. In addition to this, he can get even stronger with his boost move Strong Attack 2. It may not have Enhancer, but it does increase his attack, defense, and focus by 33%, as well as changes his magnifications from his strong attacks and more importantly his normal attack, letting him deal even more damage. Torah also has a 16% damage reduction, and if it wasn't protection enough, he also starts off with 10 barriers. Top all of this with a 40% Captain Killer and you've got yourself one deadly PvP character, as well as a pretty reliable PvE character. Like Ukiura, Torah has also been a very popular espada, so I'm not surprised they made him this powerful. I'm just curious to see how they're gonna top him.
これで全部終わりだ!
And finally at number 1, we have the community's choice for their favorite character to have come out in the 3rd year of BDS, and that honor goes to the 1000-year Blood War Bankai version of Ichigo, which honestly doesn't surprise me in the slightest. He is the main character after all, and this version of him is incredibly powerful. He not only has a really high SP, but he also has Frenzy, and he's got really good strong attacks. His strong attack 1 and 3 is a lunge move and a full screen move respectively. That's actually pretty standard. His strong attack 2 though is a boost move just like Ukiura's, that not only increases his and the entire team's attack, defense, and focus by 33%, but also changes his own magnifications. Except for Ichigo, it's a lot better because he has Enhancer, so it lasts double the time. Plus, he actually uses his strong attacks effectively, unlike Ukiura. In fact, he has a strong attack recharge link, so you can actually do this indefinitely, and build him in a way to basically give him an infinite boost. That would mean that each of your strong attacks would be dealing 140% mag, and the mag on the normal attack would also increase, which at this point is a good thing since your attack would be really high. Now, unlike half the characters on this list, Ichigo can't inflict weakening, but he is immune to it. In addition to this, he's also immune to paralysis. All of this means that you can build him in a variety of different ways, and he would actually be pretty good at autoing, despite being a high SP character. I'm actually not at all surprised he was number 1, and I can't wait to see what happens when I make this list next year. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more top 10 lists.